Swadika, this is your host Kusumayo Thasmut and welcome to Thailand Today. Thailand's English skills or inadequate English speaking ability in the local workforce is well documented. A lot of time and money have been spent on brainstorming sessions, drafting policies and writing action plans to increase the knowledge and English skills among Thai school teachers. More bilingual schools and English tutoring business are opened to cater to an ever-increasing demand. 6 months to the day, the ASEAN Economic Community or AEC will take shape. Thailand and its workforce are toiling with English. Thailand Today is pleased to welcome Mr. Christopher Wright, a multi-role individual and English instructor. He also an entrepreneur and media personality, to name just a few, to discuss his views on Thailand English language skills and the AEC. Please welcome Mr. Christopher Wright. He is a multi-role individual, an English instructor, an entrepreneur, and a media personality.
Okay. Sawasdee krap, everybody.
Welcome to Thailand Today, sir.
Well, thank you for having me here, actually. Okay.
Pleasure.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yes, everybody knows Group Chris.
I'd say yes and no. I mean, there are a lot of Thai people who still don't know who I am, because sometimes I go somewhere, 4 people see me. One person will like, hey, that's the English teacher, and the rest of the 3 will be like, who the hell's he? Who is he?
So you tell me today, who is Christopher Wright, and what is your relationship with Thailand?
Okay, well actually I'm a half-blood. My dad is English. He's an English teacher. He's been here for 40 years, over 40 years actually.
Ooh.
And my mother is a Thai teacher. So basically when I was born, I was born here in Thailand.
Okay.
And they tried to raise me. They called me, in Thai the word Lukrung means half-blood.
Okay.
But they said, no Chris, you're not a half-blood, you have to be a 200% kid. Which means, you have to learn the Thai language, the Thai culture, you need to learn the Western culture and also the English language. So you could be, a native of both cultures and both languages, basically. And after that, to cut a long story short, I started writing books about Thais learning English, and I did TV shows, and I've done stand-up talk shows. People know me from I'm on YouTube as well if you want to check me out. Chris Delivery. I have another one called Mahiron Channel Click, Chris Unseen, and but all this is in Thai, geared towards the Thais in terms of learning English and picking up cultural aspects. But in the near future, I'll be doing an English one as well. So I'm going to be shifting my concentration or my focus to the English-speaking crowd, because it's hard to teach Thais to learn English and learn the Western culture.
Yes.
But if the Westerners or the foreigners come here and they don't make an effort to try as well, then it's like, topมือข้างเดียว, or in English it's like it takes 2 to tango, basically. Yeah.
So when you say you are the person of 2 cultures, so how do you manage, because our audience mostly are foreign people, so how do you manage with the 2 cultures?
Well, that's a good question. A little anecdote or a little joke that I tell when I do my talk shows around town, around the country, is there was once upon a time when my Thai grandparents were sitting on a sofa, and I just walked past them. Like every foreign kid, every English kid would do. I just walked past them, right? And then my grandfather grabbed my hand and said, "Hey, are you a Thai kid or what?" I said, "Yes, I am." Well, do you know what Thai kids are supposed to do when they walk past old people that are sitting on a couch lower than that person? I said, no. Well, first of all, Sawasdee krap, why? And you have to bend. You have to put your head at the same level or lower, right? And I said, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So I had to go back to the starting point, and I had to know Sawasdee krap, and then I had to walk past them, like this, right? A few months later, my English grandparents come to the same sofa, And you know, I've been ingrained with the idea of Sawasdee Krap, and so I saw my English grandparents, and I Sawasdee Krap, and I walked past them like this. My English grandfather was a bit shocked, and he grabbed my hand and said, "Chris, are you okay? Do you have a backache?" Yeah. So oh, forgot. With English people, you just walk, but with Thais, it's like Sawasdee Krap, and you have to go past. The hard time was when they all came together. And you know, and usually the ladies will sit together. My Thai grandmother, English grandmother, Thai grandfather, English grandfather, and it's like Sawasdee Krap, hi grandfather, Sawasdee Krap, hi grandma, yeah, up and down. They're looking, what's he doing? You know? So this is just one example of how to be culturally sensitive, you know, and how to be aware. And you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, or in Thai they call it "Khao Meung Ta Liu, Ko Liu Ta Tam." You know, I mean that's a very important thing for Thais when working with foreigners, and also when foreigners coming to work in Thailand.
As an English instructor and entrepreneur, and how much do you and your counterparts know about AEC?
Well, I mean, first of all, the Thais think AEC is ASEAN, because they think it's the same thing, which actually it's related, but it's not the same thing. A lot of Thais don't even know what ASEAN is and what it's going to bring to Thailand, right? Well, to me, AEC is just one pillar of the three pillars of ASEAN. It's the economic community, yeah. Okay. So that there are two others, you know, social and political, environment, and all that stuff, right? So what's going to happen with Thailand? I think. Some people are, you know, sort of jumping the gun. They're, you know, sort of, I mean, counting their eggs before they hatch. They start to think as soon as it, you know, happens next year, you know, things are going to change drastically. But I don't think things are going to change that much yet. But actually, I think the changes have been changing. I mean, a long time ago already. Right. Because you know, I mean, Thailand. You know, like if we just look around us, you know, I mean, we're all surrounded by Western hardware, right? If we go, like nowadays, even before ASEAN has opened, we go to hotels or a lot of good restaurants in town. They use a lot of Filipino wait staff already, because they want them to speak English, right? And you know, so I think when ASEAN comes next year, I mean, it's going to probably make the situation a little bit, you know, I mean, more, you know, a little bit more. I mean, obvious probably. But I think I mean the Thais will probably be a little bit cagey and still like they might still be wondering or curious, or they might doubt stuff. But I mean I still think the Thais have to really, you know, get their act together and pick up their game. Otherwise, we could fall behind. Like, you know, like I mean 20, 30 years ago, Thailand was considered, you know, in the same group with Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, and those guys they've shot past. I mean, not to say Thailand didn't develop. Yes, we developed, but we could have gone a little bit further to join that gang, right? But yeah.
What does it do? AEC means anything to you on business-wise?
Well, to me, that's why I said. I mean, to me, next year when AEC opens up, I mean,
more schools of yours.
More schools? No, actually, I'm in. As I said, what I do is I write books and I do sort of talk shows. I mean, about, you know, culture, and I try to make.
Wait, the talk show is in what language?
In the past, it's been in Thai, but nowadays I do a lot of cross-cultural seminars for a lot of international companies in Thailand, and I've done some abroad as well. But when AEC opens up, I mean, this is my opportunity to you know, I mean, jump onto the bandwagon as well. And I'm writing an English book right now. My name is Chris, so the name of the book is called Crisscross Culture, you know, a pun intended. And you know, about, you know, when Thais have to deal with Westerners, or when English-speaking cultures have to go to cultures that don't speak English, how are you going to adapt? But on the other hand, how Thais have to adapt to English-speaking people, as a case study for other countries as well. And I'm going to launch this book with a stand-up talk show, which I mean, I do believe I have some funny you know, stories and examples to, you know, to make people, I mean, interested and to get their attention.
How do you open up for invitation of universities?
Sorry?
To universities. To invite you for a talk or to teach?
Yeah. I mean, one of my main jobs nowadays is, I mean, I do TV shows for, as I said, I mean, English teaching TV shows to the Thais, so they're geared towards the Thais. But you know, a lot of expats actually watch some of my shows to actually try to learn Thai and, you know, to see what's going on, right? Yeah, a lot of universities and a lot of you know, private companies. Even public, you know, organizations invite me to go and, you know, do talks, 2-3 hour, inspirational talks about three things usually. It's English communication, how to be a better English communicator, and the second thing is cross-culture, and the third one is another one I do for a lot of universities is discovering the power in you. Because I mean, how to discover who you are. Because I mean, my life has been a big long journey, and I've done so many things. But I mean, a lot of people ask me, when you write books or when you write your TV shows. I've written my TV shows for over 8 years. I mean, I write them myself with my team. I mean, where do you get the ideas? Where do you get the inspiration? I said, well, you know what? I can just sit there and it comes, you see, and it's just like Tiger Woods picking a golf club and he could just hit it. I always tell a lot of university people or even people who are like in their 30s and 40s that everyone has gifts. Okay, so everyone has a gift. Now you have a gift. Everyone, like I mean, our cameraman, or I mean, everyone has a gift. But then the sad thing about human life is, or the human world is, most people aren't allowed to go discover their gifts because they have to follow the system. It's like a bee. It's like you have a queen bee. You have the worker bees, right? So the worker bees, I mean, they might want to do something else, right? But they have to be a worker bee, so they have to follow the system, and that's their life.
Talking to you, you already said that Chris and Johnny. But how do you describe English skills in Thailand?
Well, you see, I mean, a lot of Thais would say, English. Okay, the Thai's English is getting better. Or, no, the Thai's English. I mean, the English of the Thais basically is getting better than before. I mean, I would say yes and no. I mean, there's just a small minority that have better English, but the majority are still the same. I mean, basically, zero English or very minimal English. Basically, English is not enough to survive in this modern day, right? Like for example, a few days ago, I went to this telephone company, and I mean, nowadays the Thais even use English in their own language. Like this sort of Thai service lady asked this old local man, "Excuse me, sir, do you use prepaid or postpaid?" Right? Becauseคนไทยwill say prepaid or postpaid because these words are starting to come to the Thai language, right? And the old man was like, huh? Do you use prepaid or postpaid? The old man was like, I use happy, and I don't know what prepaid or postpaid means. So what it is in English in Thailand is at a critical point. It's still not getting better because the educational system is still the same. I mean, the teachers, we're hiring a lot of Thai teachers who are very old, behind the times. A lot of Farangs who come to teach in Thailand are just Farangs passing by, but they want to hang around in Thailand for a few months. So, what to do? I'll just teach English just to kill time and make some money to pay for my apartment.
Do you think that overseas education or exposure is critical to language development skills?
No, I mean, I totally disagree with that, because nowadays, especially in this modern world where you could access anything with all the equipment, all the technological stuff that you have, it's definitely not true, because I know a lot of Thais who live in Thailand. I mean, because I travel nationwide. I've met so many Thai people who live in the provinces, and they've never been to Bangkok, they've never been abroad, but they speak English really well. They speak very good English. Because why? Because the first thing is they have the desire. They have the motivation, you see? That's the most important thing. They have the motivation, they have the desire, and they have the passion. They like it, Because one of my first missions now or in the past 10 years is how do I make Thais, turn around and appreciate and think, because I've asked so many people, and I said, why don't you like English, or why is your English still, not very good, right? They said, well, three things. English is difficult, English is boring, and English is not relevant to my life. So I have to try to make it fun and also funny, and try to make it simple, because every language has the difficult version and the easy version. But the sad thing is, in Thailand they like to teach the difficult version. Like, for example, the time. You could just say 10:30. But in Thailand they never teach the 10:30, 10:15. They teach 10:30, 10:15, 25 to 9.
British style.
Well, that's the harder version, you see. But that's the British style. But now the internet. I always say English nowadays is an international language, and the international world we use 10:15 or 10:45 more than, you know, okay, but you need to learn both versions, but the Thai system doesn't teach the easy version. They just go to the difficult version, right? To make their syllabus look, you know, like very, very, you know, high class, and, you know, I mean, so I mean, I try to make the Thais think English is fun and funny. It's easy, so I only select the simple stuff, and, you know, it's very relevant to your life.
About many of you who's a Thai who listen to Chris and wanted to learn, but they cannot afford your fees. What is your advice?
Well, I mean, as I said, right? I mean, nowadays you're so lucky because, you know, you have YouTube and all the internet stuff, Google and everything, right? There's so much free stuff. And I have, as I said, right? I have this, okay, I mean, two things of mine that I would, actually three things of mine that I would recommend would be, A, is to watch some of my old Chris Delivery shows. Chris Delivery basically is a comedy sketch. So, you know, like every week we'll have a new sketch, a new scene, new outfits, new clothes, new guests. I use a lot of celebrities to come and help act out the scenes, right? You could learn, you know. Basically I break down English into four corners. The four corners of building your English pyramid, right? VIPS. If you want to be a VIP in the international world, you have to learn VIP's English. This is my concept. V is vocabulary. So you have to know a lot of vocabulary. So, but vocabulary, there's the easy one and the difficult one, right? The second one is I, is idioms. You need to know a lot of idioms. You know, like instead of, you know, like the Farang might say, we ran out of milk. And the Thai would understand, so he would run out to buy some milk, you know, but okay, because he think, oh, ran out, wing, buy, you know, so idioms, right? P is pronunciation. Now another problem is the Thais, they think that accent is a big problem. But I try to tell people, when you go around the world, you know, like, you know, you could get an English person, yes, good afternoon, can I have a bottle of water? You go to America, can I get a bottle of water? Right? You go to Australia, can I get a bottle of water? You go to India, can I get a bottle of water? You know, and Africa, can I get a bottle of water? You know, the list keeps going on, right? So accents are fine, but the problem is Thais mispronounce thousands of words.
Exactly.
Mispronounce thousands of words.
Some of them?
Some of them is, for example,
lice.
Yeah, that one. But like for example, I met a German guy who worked for Audi, the car brand, right? And he's asking me, Chris, why do the Thai people like to say Audi? Don't say no, it is Audi. Audi. I have never heard Audi before, right? And then the question is, the whole world says Audi, but Thailand says Audi. Or I met a Chinese guy from Hong Kong. I mean, he's like, you know, from now I can tell who is a Thai person. I said, what do you mean? Well, you know, they don't need to show me the passport. All they have to show me is, is how to say the name of the place and the name of the shopping street. Okay. So Hong Kong and Thanoon Na Than. Okay. So I say, okay, can you say this for me? Hong Kong, okay, and the name of this road, Na Than, okay, you're from Thailand, no need to see your passport, okay, because it's actually Hong Kong and Nathan Road. So the question is, Nathan, how did Nathan become Na Than? You see, so that's pronunciation, and I've written books, and I do these video clips all the time, and the last one is sentences. You know, sentences, Thais learn grammar, and that's the end of the story. And I tell people, you know, I mean, if you want to speak a language, you have to speak from your sense, not the tenses. You know, the past simples, present perfect, continuouses, right? You need to learn from the senses. And the only way to learn English is like how the Thais learn the 3 sentences that they know. Hello, how are you today? That's a correct English language sentence, a correct sentence, right? Yes. What is your name? That's a correct sentence. Yes. And where do you come from? That's a correct sentence, right? But, you know, so you learn from just remembering the sentence and try to copy it, right? But then the Thais, they don't know that learning a language is all about using your mouth and copying, right? They think writing down notes is the best way. They write down the notes, they never go back and review them, right? And the second thing is you don't learn English, you don't learn how to speak English by learning grammar. Because if today I were to say, I were to teach what is your name? Is present simple. What is a question word? Is the verb to be. So is the verb to be from the, you know, so we say is because we have to look at the noun. Name is a singular noun, a singular countable noun. And your is a possessive adjective. Just to know the word, the sentence, what is your name? I need to know all that. You see, so that's what hinders or holds back the Thais, right? So I tell the Thais that, you know, if you want the Thai people to speak English, you got to chuck the grammar books out. Oh, but no, you got to chuck the grammar books out. Because when I studied at Rumradi and Bangkok Patana School, which is one of the best schools in Thailand, I started learning grammar when I was, I don't know, 10 or 11 years old. So the first 10 years, you pick up English from living it, like you watch movies and you copy the sentences, you copy the idioms, right? But the Thais, they don't understand that. They just think, so they only say, what is your name? How are you today? Where do you come from? Okay, let's learn grammar. And that's why Thais can only say 3 sentences when the Farang comes. Hello, how are you? What is your name? Where do you come from? Thank you. And that's it.
Well, why do we have to speak English? Because look, South Korea, Japan, France, Latin America.
Well, you see, well that's.
I'm citing them.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. Of course. I mean, that's something that I have to try to tell people is. Why do Thais need to learn English? I've just finished compiling a list of English words that Thais use and Thais know, right? I came up with over thousands of words. Like for example, you wouldn't say เครื่องชักรอกไฟฟ้าขึ้นตึก you say lift. Yeah, that's an English word, right? You wouldn't say เดี๋ยวจะไปเรียกรถรับจ้างส่วนบุคคล because you say taxi. You see? You wouldn't say สุขสันต์วันเกิดให้คุณ you say happy birthday to you, right? So you see? So these Thai people say, why do we need to learn English? Hello, you've been using English all along in your lives for decades, right? Nowadays, a lot of people, I mean, like you've been in Thailand for like what, decades as well, many years, right? Like for example, ธนาคารกสิกร no one says it anymore. They say K-Bank. That's an English word, right? Or even just recently, bike for mom. Okay, มีปั่นเพื่อแม่ that's bike for mom. So what are you talking about? The problem is, okay, you said South Korea. Actually, the South Koreans are learning English a lot. If you go to South Korea, every province in South Korea, they have these English villages where, every weekend or during the summer holidays, all the kids in these provinces will go to these English villages to go and practice English. And, it's such a cool, thing. Japanese, on the other hand, their English is still very behind because Japanese are similar to Thais in one way, is they're sometimes a bit too nationalistic, right? I mean, stay in Japan, we don't need to learn English, The Thais are the same, But if you go to China in 2008, when the Chinese were going to do the Olympics, right? You would see, taxi drivers, road sweepers, everyone's trying to pick up the English, So I would say English is I'm sorry, if you are French, I am sorry, but like in Europe, in the EU, if you go to Europe, it's such a normal thing where you see a German person speaking English to a Swedish person and at different accents, right? So all these countries, they learn English. But some countries, like the French, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm not making a biased, prejudiced, assumption, but it is, sort of heard that the French don't like English and they don't want to speak English, right?
So interesting what you said. I have a very time is a little up, but I just want you to leave to the people just very short wonder how to go and learn with you. I mean, what is your address and all?
Well, okay. I mean, the first thing is if you want to learn with me, the free way will be going to YouTube and watching free things. I mean, if you're a Thai person, but if you're an expat watching, you could pick up some Thai stuff from me as well. Is Chris Delivery. I have these comedy sketches on YouTube. The second one is if you go to Mahidol, but Mahidol, right? Mahidol channel, click the word and click. You'll see me standing there teaching English. Again, the VIPs, right? Vocabulary, idioms, pronunciation, sentences. Chris Unseen is my stand-up talk shows, but again in Thai. But next year I'll be doing the English one for the English people, English-speaking people, and I have books in bookstores and everything. But next year I'll be launching my own online channel. Either with YouTube, on YouTube, or my own online channel where you might have to pay a fee to come and join. But I'll be having hundreds, thousands of videos about English basically. And I have a school at Central World on the 6th floor, but today we can't go in because unfortunately there was a big bomb. While we were recording the other day, right? So yeah.
Skills in Thailand and the view on Thailand and the AEC. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Thailand Today. I'm Kusuma Yotas. Hope to see you tomorrow then. สวัสดีค่ะ